Hi all. We are going to try something here. It feels a bit uncomfortable, so I've got my key behind the camera, so I'm not talking to phone, but rather talking to a human being. This is just a message to really just want to thank everybody. We've had floods and floods of messages and from all different platforms, and it's just we're just conscious that we haven't been able to reply to everybody individually because everyone was asking, sending the love, and everybody was asking what's happening and stuff like that. So I thought it best just to make one take or to go through what's happened, so that could help everybody to understand what's happened in the last few weeks, or last few days, really, isn't it? This might be a little bit of a long video because what I want to do is just say thank you to everybody, and then what I thought would be best to do is just run through the events that happened. And so we appreciate these videos can be quite long, and if at this point it might be hard for some of you people to listen to this, so we thought it'd be best to just I just want to put us down on a video now before down a week I start forgetting. While it's fresh in our minds, I didn't want it to lose, because so one thing we have to say straight on was that God definitely had his hand in everything. And you just reflect back even to when I was born to now, it's just God's always had his hand in it, and it was very evident in the day, in the last few hours, the weeks leading up to it, the years leading up to it. It's just been an absolute amazing. Family's good. We are all okay. There's ways where it's absolutely fine, and then I'll make a meal that my mom taught me when I was very young, and one of her favorite dishes was spaghetti bolognese, and I broke down in tears. Just boom. It was the onions. We're blaming the onions. When I was cutting the onions, we blamed it on the onions. But guys, we are okay. We are going through floods of tears now and then, and emotions are just up and down, dreams but we are okay, and the kids are okay. I'm talking on behalf of them, but they're okay. All right. So I'll just start you on a little bit of the journey. So I hope you guys are okay with my voice talking for it, but I thought it would be quite good to explain to those members of the family and friends who've known my mom for many, many years. I thought it would be quite good to give you a bit of a background on what happened. So just a few years ago, my mom started showing some early signs of dementia, and it wasn't that bad, but we could feel like the forgetfulness was going there, and then she was then diagnosed with Alzheimer's, which is another form of dementia, which is it starts deteriorating quite from there.
Christmas 23.
Christmas 23.
She was like, yeah.
So Mary knows more into detail. I'm just going to do the covering of everything. Over time, with people that I appreciate that have gone through this process with Alzheimer's, knows that it does deteriorate over time, and it can be different from a lot of people. And so my mom, I messaged on about her beautiful life that she did in Africa and in Europe, and then she moved back to Switzerland. But she had her own little flat in Switzerland in a town called Burgdorf, which is about 20 kilometers away from Bern in Switzerland. It was a beautiful flat. Yeah, it was a beautiful flat. It was a ground floor flat. She had a room up on the attic, which is 4 or 5 levels up, and it was like a little room where if someone wanted to go and stay with her, they could, and some of you have stayed with her. She loved this flat. It was her own little nest that she was building, and it was great.
And a cat.
She had a cat. She liked to garden and grow wild. Okay, otherwise it'll be too long, I think. I've written a few things down so I don't try and forget and lose track. There was, she loved her independence in the flat. She was looked after herself, but however, there was a few incidences that were happening. Basically, the stove was, there was a few fire incidences in the kitchen, caught fire. I think there was around about 3 of them. and this caused, of course, a lot of serious concerns. The landlord was unhappy with the situation, and the family worked really, really hard. So where my mom was living, she was literally surrounded by her sister and her husband, and then my mom's sisters had all her kids around as well. So there was two big families as well. There was I won't mention names. I don't know if they'd be happy for me to mention names, but all my cousins were close by. So it was a really good knit of the family. She was in the center. She was in the center, and so they were able to pop in and visit.
Nephews and nieces.
Nephews and nieces, 9 nephews and nieces. So the family worked really hard to find a safe place for her and look after her as best as you can. So a couple of years ago, it was a very tight situation where the landlord was wanting her out, and the family were able to find a care home in another town called Oldenburg, which is literally 15 minutes walk up from my mom's sister's house. So it was close to Burgdorf, but it was Oldenburg, which is close by. And so it was in the same area, which was nice, and my mom's sister could visit her regularly, and the family could visit her regularly. But this care home was very beautiful. It was very caring. She had this very top flat, and you had this beautiful view of the mountains. When the clouds cleared away, stunning view. So she started
The
Alps. She started loving the view, but she hated she started getting very bitter about being moved from her flat, which she loved. She struggled to settle into this place. She also, being a self-sufficient woman, that was the key, is self-sufficient. She wanted self-independence. She wanted her own thing. She struggled with the care, the regular, we want to feed you now, here's your pills now, you need to have a shower now. That sort of constant turn drove my mom.
She bossed them around quite a lot. She had the patience and the stuff in place.
So emotionally she struggled with it, but she knew always that this was the best place for her. She knew that her mind was getting worse and worse. She knew, but she still struggled. All right. My cousin did a beautiful thing last year. Because of the dementia and the Alzheimer's, so she wasn't allowed to travel on her own, and so my cousin last Easter,
our birthdays as well.
She made a real big effort and traveled with my mom over to England, and so my mom was able to stay with us for 3 weeks, and we actually had an amazing time. We did notice how forgetful she was. Unfortunately, guys, she would wake up and go, "Where am I? What's going on?
You put signs on the doors saying that's Simone's room, toilet."
Yeah, but we could tell you straight away, we couldn't leave her alone. She couldn't be left.
Her.
Okay, yeah, we'll just not talk about that. We're publicly here telling something, right? And yeah, then I went back with her. I took her back as well to Switzerland, back to her place. I could see the place where she was staying, and I was so amazed at how friendly the staff were. And she had her own little group of older ladies that would sit with her, and she would boss these men around and stuff like that. And
you did the photo book. You wanted me to do the photo book, and she showed it.
So we did a photo book of her coming to visit here, and one of the things was she's always had it under the arms, apparently. Walking around every time and just saying, "Do you want to see the photos? I want to show you some photos of my family and a visit." She was very proud. And she always talked about the photo book, and she had it. And we could see because the book was worn. It was always under her arm, and she was wearing it one. Okay, so just I would say a few months, maybe even 6 months. She had a fall. And since that fall, things got progressively worse.
The main one was January this year.
So she when she fell, there's a lot of tests and stuff like that, but then they found that there was a very small fracture in her vertebra. They had some operations that were done, but she struggled with her body not being able to move around
But also
and do what she could.
She couldn't remember that she'd had a fall.
And then she'll wake up, wouldn't remember she had a fall, and she would think she would do something normal, and again she had and incidences over and over again.
Yeah.
She did have multiple, or probably 2 operations, and from...
That was in January, February.
Yeah, from that, I know that when I was able to give her a call quite often throughout the week, you know, she wouldn't remember of the op or whatever, but, you know, she remembered she was in pain, and it was very painful for her from that.
Yeah.
So that increased the frustration of her being looked after. So her comment was, I am not a baby. Why are they looking after me? I'm not please leave me alone. Leave me alone. And so she started getting that sort of progression ready. She'd always been an independent woman. And so being looked after in that way, she felt she didn't want to put people out of their way.
When we offered for her to come and live with us, she said she wouldn't do that.
She wouldn't do that to us because it won't be fair to us. She always had other things in mind. My throat's getting dry.
She loved Switzerland as well, and being away from Switzerland would have been hard for her.
Yeah.
It was her home.
Okay. So there's one thing that we have to say is that her sister got the brunt of her being upset, and we feel sorry for the sister in a way because she took a lot on. You know, my mom was always blaming her for everything, which was, you know, tough for her. And at this morning we need to pray for her sister because her sister is doing a lot of
all the
prep memorial stuff on that. Because of her falls and things like that, they moved her to another floor, but that move was a significant part because she knew that floor was where people need a lot more security and a lot more caring. And you know, my mom's sister did mention, she did say a few times that was it. This is going to be finishing soon because she knew her mind was sick and her body was ill and she couldn't stand it.
She had a fall on the 8th or 9th of May. Just recently she had another fall.
So they moved her to this room which had sensors around the room so that she got moved out the bed. The nurses could be there, you know. It was amazing how they were able to care for her that way. So going through the final time now, I hope you guys are still there. I hope you guys are okay to go through this tough bit. So on the Thursday, last week, do you know the date?
A week ago today. So what are we?
I was at work and I didn't tell my colleagues this, but I was struggling throughout the day. And the what? 14th of May.
Last week.
I was just struggling through the day, and I actually said I'm going to go home now because I didn't feel like wasn't physically sick, but I felt like I was struggling, and for me now I know it was spiritual. And we got home in the evening, and so our family had been watching a TV series, and in the TV series, the last episode that we watched, main character passed away. And so we're ready to watch the new series, and the kids, they all surprised us. I think it was your idea, Mikey. It was Mikey's idea. They're all dressed in black. And so they came down in mourning for this loss. And probably 15, 20 minutes within the TV series, I just looked at my phone and there was a message from my mom's sister. And I paused the TV. I said, I'm really sorry, guys. Hold on, let me just read this. It's quite urgent. And then after reading the message, I said, guys, I need to go see my mom quickly. And then it was basically a message saying things are declining quite quickly. And I spoke to the sister. I phoned her on and said, can I call you? We spoke online through WhatsApp. And
they'd moved your mom to palliative care.
Yep.
And that they were preparing for end of life.
Exactly. So we were like, oh, what are we going to do? So action plan in place, right? We just quickly started working on what we're going to do. I have to say that the friends and family around us just gave us such a great support. The children were Mikey and Jess and Chris. I give my hat to them. They were amazing. They said, you need to go, Dad. You need to go.
And then we had the thing about should we both go together, and they said you must both go.
And they were encouraging us to go immediately and promised that to take care of all the house They could do it with the pets, and so the animals, and they were going to look after Mary's dad as well. And they said, please just go. So we're quickly online booking the flights, struggled to find flights, but was able to find some flights in the afternoon for the Friday. And so everything was booked to be set, and we're just still picking up stuff. Like, Mary was amazing. She was able to try and book some food for the kids and speak to the community to ask who can help with check-in. Our neighbor was amazing. He was going to be, so I'm here, and Andy and Kim, they were like, we'll be checking on them, stuff like that. And so there were everybody just thank you so much for all those people just pulled in. And when we called on you guys, there was no hesitation. You're like, let's do this. So early in the morning, we drove off on Friday morning. This is the Friday the 15th, is it? We drove to, because the only flight I could get was from Gatwick. Again, phoned some friends at Gatwick, and they're like, hey, leave your car at our house, and I'll take you to the airport, you know. And it just lessens the burden of trying to catch taxi, you know. Just those little things just help.
Even that lunch that we had.
Oh yeah, they gave us lunch. That was our last food for
like,
the
next morning.
Nearly 24 hours, guys, and you know how I love my food, right?
That was.
And then, so we knew throughout the day on that Friday or Thursday, Friday, we know that my mom received a lot of visitors from their family in Switzerland, and all her nephew and nieces they visited, and they were saying their goodbyes. And it was very tough for some of them that we heard, and well, all of them, everybody. But so I think what's nice is my cousins were telling my mom that I'm on my way. I'm arriving in Basel. And so as we're traveling over
we were
praying and I'll be there in time, you know. So we really booked train tickets. So we're arriving in Basel, and we're going to take a train to Basel, which will take us about.
From Basel.
And we would be in to see my mom around about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. But my cousin there probably saw what was happening and decided to come pick us up from Basel. So made the journey in an hour. And so
and he didn't get a ticket.
he sneakily parked off somewhere, and
he'd forgotten all his money
and so my cousin picked us up. We went straight to my mom. We arrived about just after 8. Went to go and see my mom, and
that was amazing.
So before that, the nurse told us during that time while we were on the way, my mom was actually sort of talking in the morning, but during the day started getting not less talking. But when they were washing her, she opened her eyes and looked at the nurse and said that my son is at Basel. And the nurse was like, sorry, who's at Basel? My son's coming to visit me. So she so with her brain, she knew that we were coming, you know, and that's amazing.
We only found that out like the next day, right?
Yeah, and then so as we arrived to my mom, we went straight to see her, and it was tough. It was shocking. It wasn't very the same person that we saw. She lost a lot of weight, and so it was. I even said, "Are you sure this is?" You know, you could see it, but you're still trying to register everything, the emotions and everything that's going on.
And also just the relief of getting there.
Yeah. And so as Mary and I held her hands, she moved a bit, and we were able to talk. She didn't open her eyes then, and she wasn't able to talk. But I said, hey Mom, it's me, Bernie, your son, and Mary, we're here. Do you remember us? And she was nodded. And then, are you okay? Can probably get some tissues. And then we were able to pray with her. We were able to read scriptures with her. So Eric left.
She also held your hand.
She held my hand for ages.
My hand as well.
And then it's okay. And then about just before midnight, while she was moving, I asked her if she was in pain, which she nodded. She nodded. So then they started morphing just before midnight, going into midnight. And
I remember you praying, just saying, Lord, please don't let her suffer.
Yeah, that was the main thing, right? and yeah, we had to be very careful how we held her because she had so much pain through it. But as soon as the morphine, they started injecting a little bit slowly, a little bit of morphine. She wasn't on any machines. They just injected her every couple of hours first.
No.
Yeah,
and
every
so 4 hours.
No, so they injected a little bit, a couple of hours, and then as soon as she had the morphine and the pain relief was in, you could see she was peaceful. Because there was a moment when she was in a lot of pain, and that shocked us a little bit. But did I say about she opened her eyes? Yeah, she did. Yeah. Anyway, me and Miz stayed with my mom all night.
We're taking it in shifts.
And I was trying to get. So all we had was this armchair. My mom's armchair was there, and
so I was sitting by her bed reading,
and I was trying to close my eyes to get a few nods, but of course Mary chose to read Book of Revelation, which isn't a bedtime story in a way. But
they say to keep talking because hearing is the last thing that goes. So just to keep talking to them.
So we read this. We had quite a few scriptures from friends. We read through Psalms. We read through
the best part about
Isaiah.
Revelation, we didn't focus on it was more about the new heaven, new earth, end of suffering, and that was the part we wanted her to know. Please
also know that nurses had so much compassion for my mom. So they didn't just come in, clean her or do anything and walk out. They stayed. They held her hand. They spoke to her in
Frau Kirkman,
schön and schlaf gut, and we love you and sleep well. You're looking at peaceful, and
Maria was. I mean, there's so many of them.
Okay, so we stayed. There was one part that me and Mary tried to sleep in the armchair together. So I didn't sleep we didn't sleep that much that night.
Yeah.
And then on Saturday morning, the night before I was able to phone my mom's best friend to let her know what's happening. So my mom's best friend came along the next day, and we had some really good time with my mom, and just had speaking. Mary was really.
I went home
to freshen up
to the cousins and just got a little bit of rest, and then came back later.
So my mom's friend, she told me stories of how they met in 1971 in an immigration room in South Africa, and it was funny how the beginning of the story was, and that they actually had their first fight when they met, and she was the only person, guys, who could tell my mom off, and she did on day one, and I know it was really hard for her. We helped push it, but she was able to say goodbye. Which was really tough to see. We then had a bit of a break in the evening. My cousins invited us over for a cheese fondue, and we had a cheese fondue. It was a nice little, because the nurses were going to be there. One thing I didn't want my mom to not be alone. So the nurses were constantly there, and
also they said your mom is strong, and
her heart was strong, guys. She did not.
And her colour was good. They said, we don't think she's going to pass away tonight. So you felt at peace to go and have a couple of hours.
So we had a couple of hours away, and we had a great catch up with my cousins. Yeah. We shared wonderful memories and stories, and we raised a toast to my mom and honoured my mom. It was a really fantastic, and I thank my family for that. That was amazing. We went back, and my mom was still very at peace. We decided that Mary should go back and get a good night's sleep.
And you wanted to stay.
And I said I just wanted to stay. And it was a really golden moment for me, because when I was alone, I spent a lot of time, and I could just have this real beautiful moment. I did record one of them, what we spoke about. And I was able to read scripture to her, and I started the book of John, and I think it's beautiful. Prayed a lot with her, and
music in the background.
I just really treasured that. I had God provided me such a quiet moment with Mom, and it was absolutely beautiful. In the morning, of course, Mary came back. But
at that point, you could see the difference between the two.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, definitely. And she was breathing a lot slower at that point.
So my mom's sister arrived, and we looked at and we said maybe they need to have a private moment. So we left them alone, and she said that was really good for her. So we left them alone.
We said take your time.
Take your time. Message me when you finish, and we'll come back. And so me and Mary went out for a quick lunch in a cafe, and just one of those moments where we were able just to walk. We walked around her little area that she would have walked. Saw the church that she said she visited a few times, and then we were sitting in this little park area, and literally 1 minute away, or even less than that,
just around the
corner, and we heard this beautiful sounds coming from around the hedge, and
I thought it was like a music lesson.
Yeah,
I thought like people were playing the trumpet or something.
Yeah, so here's this trumpet sound, and then, but what it was this trio were practicing to do this performance later, and they had these beautiful alpine horns. I did have a bit of chat with them to explain what I was doing and how beautiful it is to hear these horns. They did play another piece which I recorded as well, and it was one of those, when you go to a funeral and hear a trumpet sound, it was like a beautiful send-off. It was such a man of God, I say, we were in tears from that.
We were sitting there.
We went back to the room just before 3, and this is like, and the breathing really was harder then, and we could see
a machine helping her like a little bit, the oxygen,
just to help ease with the breathing.
So there was that sound in the room of like.
So the sisters, like at 3 o'clock, said, "No, I need to go. I can't be here any longer." She left. It was a bit hard.
Before she left, we played the alpine horns to your mom.
We played the alpine horns for mom.
Elizabeth
will never forget that. She said that was such a beautiful thing.
Because she said how your mom loved those horns.
Yeah. And then the sister left, and me and Mary were there just playing worship music with her. And it was just one of those moments where it just fell down into sleep around. That's it. One of my favorite worship songs were playing, and guys, as soon as it ended, she took her last breath. And so we've played that song since, but it's gonna be one of those memorable ones. So thank you, Lord, for that beautiful moment. Her suffering had ended.
You pressed the buzzer.
Yeah, they came, and then.
And they confirmed.
Guys, she lived a lovely life. She was loved. She was cared for. She was finally at peace. And I can't thank God enough for allowing us to have those moments before that moment. And we always hope this is true, but I truly believe she's in heaven, and she's renewed. She's got a new body. She's got a new mind, and she's worshiping. And I think. And she was ship and shake all those people up there, right? She's done, and I know we have peace on that. So thank you guys for listening to the story. It hasn't ended yet, in the sense that please pray for us. We are busy doing the sister needs a lot of prayer. She's doing a lot of preparations. My mom did went to the crematorium on Wednesday, and my sister today has received the ashes, and she's preparing now for the ceremony. So what's going to happen is we're planning to go on the 5th of June to Switzerland, have a private circle family event where we're all going to be at this burial ground in Burgdorf, and we are going to place the urn and the ashes in this area, and we're just going to have a time there, and then we're going to go and have a meal and drinks afterwards. That'll be on the 5th of June. We just rushed today. I've just been to get the passport sorted out for 2 of our kids whose passports run out, and we're just planning for a drive. We're going to be driving down, so please pray for us as we are going to be driving all the way from here.
France.
We've never done it before, and so we feel that it's going to be a beautiful journey, for all of us to go through this together and spend some time and do that. And so just pray for the families, and I just want to hope if you've followed me to the end, I will be amazed. But just want to thank you, everybody. And I thought this would be a fitting tribute to explain to those people who are wanting to know. And Lots of love to everybody, and we thank God for everything that He's put His hand through every little point and everything He's done, by all the family and friends who have helped and supported us, and all the messages we've received. We are so overwhelmed with all the messages. There's been so many, and I forget how many people my mom has met and how many people's affected. She's impacted a lot of people with, you know, with her love and her tough love. And yeah, I've got friends who just never forget her kindness, you know, helped feed them, helped looked after them.
Even friends who were saying, "Oh, we remember the time in Switzerland when we went over there."
Yeah. She was very accommodating.
Yeah.
She was never short on giving all her love to everybody.
So generous. And like, so much of our life has been impacted by her generosity.
Yeah. And I know our kids are missing her terribly, and of course everybody is. So, but she's at peace. So thank you, and thank you, Lord. Amen. Schön.